Hello and welcome to another episode of your favorite podcast, not another sports podcast. My boy Brandon couldn't be here with us. He's at the Bama game,
Yes, sir.
getting ready to root on the Tide. But I'm here with my co-host Kevin, and we got our special guest Josh.
Yes, sir.
How's it going, y'all?
Yes,
Good
sir.
To be back. Good to be back.
Yes, sir. And you know how we do it around here. We're gonna kick it off with something positive. What y'all got this week?
I've been on the road for a minute, man. It's good to be back home, back in the city, see my boys.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Let's see. We went out to Dave and Buster's last week. We saw my boy Mechie catch the game-winning 2-point shootout conversion.
Yes, sir.
Shout out to him. Good time.
Well, for me, I've just been real focused lately. I've been in my bag with some things, so
There we go.
shout out to God for that.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
It's definitely worth it. Shout out to Jay-Z. His birthday today, December 4th. I definitely listened to that when I woke up this morning.
Yeah.
I went to college game day. I was on TV again. If I don't do anything else, I'm going to mark it. I was on TV a couple of times. I was behind Dan Mullen when he was on TV.
Boo.
I was behind Lee Corso and Kirk Herbstreit when they were talking and giving the head picks. I got a lot of good shots. I'm going to go home and take a lot of screenshots of those and post them on the Not Another Sports Podcast, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter.
Check it out.
Following us. And I was off work since like Tuesday, Wednesday. I can't remember exactly which day, but I was off work. And I was getting paid. Shout out to that. It's always good to do that. And Christmas is coming up. That's always the best time of year. Christmas music is good. It's always gospel music mixed with a little bit of
Mariah.
yeah, that too. I'm not gonna cap. My sister and niece love that song, but that song is growing on me. It's not one of those songs you automatically skip anymore.
True.
But we gonna kick it off with baseball free agency. I guess we just gonna skip over the fact that it's a lockout. I mean, it's really nothing to talk about that. We'll talk about it, I guess, later when they come to terms. I mean, we know they're not gonna miss any time, but I mean, they're not. There's a lockout, so I guess we have to talk about it a little bit. But to kick it off with free agency, we got the the Texas Rangers. They spending big money in Dallas. They got Corey Seager and Marcus Semien. Corey Seager signed on a 10-year, $325 million deal, and Marcus Semien on a 7-year, $175 million deal. So what do y'all think about those?
It seems like they're trying to make moves to actually make a postseason push this year, which makes sense. They've been out of the talks for a while, so if there's ever a time watching an underdog team win, it would make sense for them to, want to make a push. And they got two pretty solid pieces for the next couple seasons. So
yeah, it's really just if Seager can stay healthy. I kind of forgot that he had Tommy Johns a couple of years ago, but he has it's not really injuries that'll keep you out.
Right.
Every now and then, it's those serious injuries. So if he can get rid of that, then it should be a great sign for them.
It should be. Rangers haven't made the playoffs in like 7 years, ain't it? So,
yeah, I think so.
It's nice to see them make those moves. I mean, you really don't know what these contracts equal to until they start playing. You thought Bryce Harper was a good deal, and I mean, he won an MVP, and I love Bryce Harper, but Philly's still not winning anything. So just because they spent this money on him, I don't know if that's necessarily gonna make them a playoff team after almost being a decade away from it. Last time the Rangers been relevant was when Yu Darvish first got there, and then Josh Hamilton.
I think that was 2013, 2014. We were still in high school, right?
Yep.
Yeah. I think that was right when my grandma moved there. So yeah, it was 2013, 20.
So
probably
a decade.
2012, somewhere around that area.
It's been a minute.
Yeah, but I think for them, it's more so that they see that the division is kind of weakening with the Astros losing out all of their players. We don't really know what the Mariners are going to be. They won 90 games, but we don't know if they can keep up that pace. We know how their history is. They are good one year and then terrible the next year. Right. So We're going to talk about them a little bit later, but I feel like it's really just the Rangers, the Angels, and the A's division to lose these next couple of years, depending on how they make their moves. I haven't seen anything from the A's to say that they're one of those teams that will win the division, but they're always right in the hunt every year. So
always competitive.
Always
you gotta take them into consideration. But moving on to the next team, the Detroit Tigers. They signed Javi Baez for 6 years, $140 million. Not gonna lie, the only reason this one is on here because they probably aren't done making moves. They just probably are gonna wait until the lockout is over. I think, like with what we saw with the Rangers, they probably could still go get Correa and move Baez to second. That would be pretty dangerous. I'm not really sure what they have out there other than the White Sox to contend with in the division. So, I mean, depending on how that works. I mean, there are a lot of people wondering why he went there, but it's not really much to compete with. Like I said, other than the White Sox, what are they calling themselves? The Guardians? They're not competitive. Twins, they're not good. Who else is in this? There's one more.
Cleveland, right?
Yeah, it's the Guardians.
Cleveland, Minnesota.
They are the Guardians. I thought
Detroit. Cleveland, Minnesota, Detroit.
Guardians. That's ugly.
Kansas City, and we all know Kansas City isn't relevant. So, I mean, yeah, I feel like. I mean, I would have gone somewhere else because I just want him to be on a team that's on TV and relevant. But I like the move long term. You're gonna get your money, and you're really not playing for nothing because you already got your ring.
Right.
Kind of the same with Seager.
Oh, I don't know this guy, so.
Javi Baez?
Yeah, I don't know this one.
Yeah, he used to play for the Cubs.
Yeah,
he got traded to the Yankees.
Really good defensive.
No, he got traded to the Mets. I'm sorry.
Let me say, I wouldn't know he was at the Yankees.
Yeah, no, he's
doing nothing.
He was the one that did the thumbs down.
Ah, okay. Now I know what you're talking about.
Nah, he's a really great defensive.
He was on the cover of MLB The Show. He fired with the tags.
Okay,
Yeah,
I know. I seen that.
And that man will tag you out and point at the catcher at the same time.
In the World Baseball Classic.
Okay.
I like Javi Baez. He didn't play the game that I went to when they played the Cubs. I think he was hurt.
And he chose Detroit.
Yeah.
I mean, well, Detroit is also a team that's not too far removed from World Series contentions and stuff like that. I think they still got Miguel Cabrera. They still got some talent on that team. I don't know how much he helps them as well. A lot of these teams need more than one piece.
It's more of a defensive move. He's a decent bat, but they got him for his glove and shortstop.
I mean, he did get.
They got bats.
They did trade for him in the Mets, and that was gonna help them win the division. And we saw how that worked out. So
the Mets
take that with a grain of salt.
The Mets.
Oh yeah, we definitely gonna get to the Mets.
Cool.
But speaking of the AL West we were talking about earlier, let's jump back there to the Mariners. Robbie Ray went there for 5 years, $115 million. I think that was a great signing. That was definitely a pitcher I would have wanted the Braves to go out and get.
Right.
But we
are the Yankees.
Yeah. That would have been
smart.
That would have been a good signing for y'all. But yeah, I feel like that was a great signing. I don't know. Like I said with the Tigers, I don't think they're done. I think they might also go get Chris Bryant. That would be a great move for them. I feel like they need one more veteran leader to help out that young team. Like I said, they won 90 games, so they're kind of on the cusp. If they can keep that pace and actually kill the narrative, to steal Freddie's word, if they can actually repeat and have back-to-back competitive seasons, they can actually get something going and have some free agents flocking in, see that they are actually building something up there. So, I mean, I like the moves. I actually like the Mariners. I mentioned on here a couple of times how I watched that Secret Base documentary about the Mariners. Really good documentary. So yeah, I like the Mariners. I hope they get a ring at some point. Well, what y'all think about it?
I mean, kind of like you were saying, they need a solid piece that the team could be pulled around. And I think he provides that for them,
right?
Especially coming off of Cy Young.
And they also traded for Adam Frazier from the Padres. So I mean, I don't think
he's been in the league for a minute. So.
Yeah, I mean, he's not like the greatest bat in the world, but he's a veteran leader.
Yeah. He's been down the stretch before. I think he's been in the postseason too, hasn't he? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I wish they had this talent when they had King Felix.
Okay.
That man was too good to be on the sorry team.
That man.
I wish they had it when they had Ichiro as well.
Yes.
That man King Felix came to Atlanta and finessed us.
He was not the same.
Yeah.
Man, he would have been great in our playoff rotation last year. not the last year when we won the World Series. I keep saying that because I keep forgetting baseball season is over. But I mean, like the year where we lost to the Dodgers.
2020.
Yes, when he opted out the whole season. All we needed was one more pitcher, so we wouldn't have to start Bryce Wilson and. Never mind. Let's keep moving on. Speaking of pitchers, we got Max Scherzer going to the Mets. He has a 2 to 3 year deal, an opt out, something $130 million
at 36.
I'm not gonna lie, bro. I don't understand that move. Like I mean, obviously money.
I get it for them because they had to replace Syndergaard.
Yeah, it makes sense. But for him, I
mean, but what else do he have to prove? He's 36, and he got a chip.
If somebody paying you that money, you gotta take it.
Yeah.
At 36, I don't.
With a dead arm.
I don't fear Max Scherzer at all. Like even when Max Scherzer was dealing in Washington, getting Cy Youngs, we were still consistently hitting him. So. Like, I don't fear him at all. He's been in the division forever. So, like, we've seen the best of him, and he's not the best of him. So, yeah, this doesn't scare me. I feel like more so the Starling Marte move, that one was one that would strike fear in us. But, I mean, we've seen him in the division forever. He played with the Marlins. Right. That was one of those moves where I wish we would have made last year, but obviously it didn't make a difference because we won the World Series. But that was one of those players where I definitely felt like he was going to come in and make a difference and was going to help the locker room. Mm-hmm. Kind of like the Solairs and the Rosarios of the world. Mm-hmm. Just a different, cheaper option that doesn't also help out the Marlins. So, I mean, it made sense in the long run.
I completely agree. I think he can bring some experience and veteran leadership to the Mets. Will he win you a couple of games in the playoffs? I think so. I still think he got a little bit of juice left if they use him right and not try to like throw him out as the ace the whole season. He can't do that no more. But maybe he done did enough in his career that he just kind of like just waited out into the playoffs and just become that reliever, that dynamic reliever that they're gonna need in the playoffs if they make it. Which I was about to say I doubt it because I think the Marlins might be better than the Mets.
The Marlins are going to
the Phillies going to be better than the Mets.
I know. I think the Phillies going to win the division.
Stop it.
Yeah. Hey, man. I said the Braves was going to win the World Series last year before the season. They did what they had to do. But that was last season. Now, Bryce Harper going to get the job done this season. Right. They're going to win the division. Y'all still going to make the playoffs. But the Phillies going to win this division this upcoming season. That's how I see it.
It depends on if the Padres can bounce back. I feel like whoever wins that division is going to be.
Yeah, the Padres.
I don't know. It's going to be tough.
But I'm about to say,
I don't see 3 teams out there making it again.
And nah. Phillies. You talk about in your division?
Also,
in their division.
A major factor will be at the end of this lockout if there's a DH in the National League as well.
Oh yeah, and then
that'll shake a lot of things up.
I think that's also why a lot of people are waiting to be signed.
It actually makes sense. Yeah.
So what happens to those DHers? Like, do they have to go practice some positions now? Are they just
No. Like, they're seeing if
the NL will
get a DH.
It's not taking them away.
Okay, I thought they was taking them away.
Nah.
So what was that about? Something in the World Series where they was like game 5 could have been the last game with a DH.
No, the last game where a pitcher hits for himself.
Okay. Makes sense.
But before I
that's hold up. Wait, so that means we ain't gonna be able to, if that's the case, we ain't gonna see Ohtani be able to hit no more and stuff like that?
No.
So Ohtani's not a DH, he's a two-way player.
So it'll count.
I mean,
on a day that he's pitching, he can opt to hit for himself.
Mm-hmm.
But on a day where somebody else is pitching, or a day that he's, they can have the DH. You can still opt.
Yeah, you can choose to have your own DH or not.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I see. Makes sense. I'm about to say, they getting rid of it.
Like, say if Madison Bumgarner pitched in the AL and they just wanted to let him hit,
mm-hmm.
they could do that.
Or Zach Greinke or Max Fried, or because
Okay,
there are
makes
pitchers
sense.
who can hit.
Yeah, it makes sense.
But before I move on to the next one, I asked this in the group chat. What do y'all think about it? If we move Freddie, like if we instead of signing Freddie, we bring in Correa and move Austin to first. Which one would be the better option? Moving Austin to first or re-signing Freddie? Yeah, nah. I think for me, given the same contracts, same length, all that, signing bonus, everything, I'm taking Correa. I feel like he's a Gold Glove infielder, and he's also a Silver Slugger batter, same as Freddie, but he's also younger, and he's a little bit faster, so he gives us some different things we can do with our lineups. Having him, Roy and Ozzy, 1, 2, 3. Oh my goodness, that would be dangerous.
True.
From a baseball perspective, that makes sense. But I mean,
if we're talking statistics,
the Braves Nation, you can't.
But I would think you need in every clubhouse, every locker room, you need a guy who, like, you need a like I said, you need a guy who, like, the team, like.
The only reason why I don't think they would do it is because he's coming from the Astros. If he didn't have that on his resume, I feel like they would do it. I feel like he is not. He has all of the qualities that Freddie has. He's just an Astro. So people look past all of that, which is understandable. But for me, I would take Freddie. I mean, I would take Correa. One, because he fits basically the locker room that we have. So I feel like it would be an easy integration of bringing him in. We brought in Soler, Soler, Rosario, and everybody else in like 2-3 months. So I feel like that's gonna be something that's easy, other than, of course, being the cheater. But I mean, we beat them, so I don't think like once you beat somebody that's known as cheating, you'd be like, oh well, they cheated on y'all. It don't matter. We beat them. Yeah, it don't matter to me. So I mean, for me, I would take it, but I understand why we wouldn't do that. But moving on, talking about big money deals, college. All these coaches are moving on. We're not going to get into if it's ethical of them leaving before their contracts, all this other stuff. Players do it. Coaches should be able to do it. But first, I'm sorry. I jumped the gun. Let's talk about the conference championship games. Let's rapid fire these.
Yes, sir.
Utah, Oregon. Obviously, that game is over. What was y'all's thought about that?
Oregon blew it.
Yeah.
Every year they blow it. Every year since Chip Kelly, this team just has failed to get it done. Losing the Pac-12 championship more than they win it. I think they only won 2 in like the past 5 years. So like, I don't know. And the Pac-12 is weak, so it's not like they're in some competition with folks. They are their own worst enemy. You beat Ohio State this year and then lose to Utah, lose to Stanford. Yeah, that's the big loss. Like, come on now. Like, it doesn't make any sense. I don't get it.
Yeah, I watched that game last night, and it seemed like Oregon just couldn't really get any like momentum going. Like they would, I mean, I don't know. It felt like they walked into the game like having already won it, and then they were like, "Oh well, we still gotta play this game," and they just won.
They did that against Stanford.
Yeah.
And then against someone else, they lost another one.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be a walkthrough. It was not. I forgot.
It was a horrible loss too. It wasn't a loss that they were supposed to lose.
Yeah. I mean, I'm glad you mentioned Ohio State. This just proves that just like every other year, they lose to a team that they have no business losing to. It happens every year. Purdue's, the Iowas of the world. You know how it goes. But next up, Baylor, Oklahoma State. That one's over. I thought Oklahoma State was gonna win, but I was wrong. So
I wanted Oklahoma State to win.
Yeah, I wanted some chaos, but
I wanted it to get interested in the top 10.
Yeah, I had a scenario, but it doesn't even matter, so I'm not even gonna bring it up.
I hope Baylor gets some recognition. You know, they got a couple of losses, and one of the losses was like a bad loss or whatever. But this team has consistently been in the top 7 all year. Handle business, beat one of a top 5 team that was many predicted to be in the playoffs or wanted to be in the playoffs. They avenged the loss that they took to Oklahoma State. So one of their losses is to a team that they ended up coming back and beating in the Big 10 or Big 12 championship, and they beat them, or they're winning very convincingly. I think they should have a little shot at the playoffs. Because me personally, I don't base the best teams off of being undefeated. I think a lot of teams can have 1 loss, 2 losses, and still make the playoffs and still be the best team. It happens in the NFL. Team lose 7 games and win the Super Bowl. So I don't think going undefeated makes you the top 4 team. So I think Baylor definitely should have a case if it gets to a conversation with Cincinnati, Baylor, and Notre Dame.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. Next up, we got Houston and Cincinnati. I'm gonna go with Houston. I feel like they're a pretty good team. They've won 11 straight games after that loss to Texas Tech to open up the season, and they've been winning in pretty convincing fashion. So, I think it's gonna be a pretty good one. But I'm gonna take Houston.
Houston as well. Don't believe in Cincinnati. Don't want to see Cincinnati in the playoffs. You can call me being a mid-major hater, whatever you want me to call it. But I just don't want to see Cincinnati in there and get beat by 30 by Bama or UGA, get beat by 20 by Michigan. I don't want to see it.
Yeah. I got Cincinnati, man. I've made a case for Cincinnati since last season.
Are you saying that because you made the case, or are you saying that because you believe they're going to win?
Both.
A little bit of A, little bit of B. But no, man, I mean, I'm on the opposite side of the coin. Like, I want to see a little, like, Cincinnati gets in, maybe they can shake something up, man. Because if Cincinnati gets in, you've got to, I mean, they're going to be the underdog.
Are you saying that because, or, like, do you honestly think they can win?
I think they can make it to the championship.
No, they can't.
I think they can.
Right.
If they wasn't letting my boy Brandon Boykin back in the day in with TCU, Cincinnati should get in.
Michigan, Alabama, Georgia.
You said what?
You think they're beating Michigan, Alabama, or Georgia?
I don't
Which
think
one
they're
of those
beating Georgia. I think they could beat Michigan.
All right. I mean,
college sports, bro. You never know.
I mean, you're not wrong.
I mean,
we got shoot. We don't even know if Michigan gonna make it. We gotta see how they play.
That's true.
But next up we got. Speaking of Michigan, they play Iowa tonight. They play their big game. Well, they played their big game last week. They finally got the dub. Let's see if they can keep the ball rolling this week. I'm gonna pick them, but it wouldn't surprise me if they lost. Jim Harbaugh seems to do this. He will win a game he isn't supposed to, and then lose a game that everybody predicts that he'll win.
Who they're playing again?
Iowa. Who was number 2 at one point in the country. At one point in the season.
Gave it up as well.
Yes.
Yeah, that was very short-lived. I don't think. I mean, it's really. I don't really. Michigan could lose to Iowa, but
I would not be surprised at all.
I don't really see it happen. I mean, like you said, it could happen.
It's not that I couldn't see it happening. It's not that I definitely could see it happening. I just don't expect it to happen. But I do expect it to happen at the same time, if that makes sense.
If someone walk up to me,
I wouldn't bet on it. I would definitely, if somebody forced me to bet one way or the other, I would bet Michigan. Mm-hmm. But I know, at the deep down, yes, this is Michigan at the end of the day. This is Coach Khaki Pants. He's bound to lose it.
The Walmart pants, boy.
Bound to lose. Just going all the way back to the NFL. Bound to lose the big game.
Yeah.
But I'm going with Michigan. Like you said, if someone was to come to me and I didn't watch the game and they said, Michigan lost, yeah, I'm not surprised. But I don't expect them to. Like you said, this momentum they're coming off of beating Ohio State. I think they're gonna ride it into this. And then this team is just different. Like I know we put a lot on Jim Harbaugh and say he doesn't win the games and stuff like that. But when you look at what he took over in Michigan in his first few years there, they really didn't have a quarterback. They didn't really have outside weapons, and their defense was good but not great. And in the Big Ten, you got to have great defense, and you got to have decent offensive players that can at least score the ball with Ohio State. And he didn't have that for the most part. And now this year, he got a really good quarterback. He got great skill players, and the defense is really, really, really good. So I think they're gonna hold it down and get this Big Ten championship.
Yes,
better than James Franklin.
And now for the game you've all been waiting for. If this was College Game Day, they would start running the B-roll by now, and all the crowd would be screaming. But yes, the game, the SEC championship, the moment we've been all waiting for. Alabama and Georgia, everybody's national championship. If Georgia wins, this is the national championship. If we win, then we're gonna get another national championship of Alabama and Georgia. So I think we're gonna win. Actually, I feel like Will Anderson will show why he's been in Heisman talks
Southside.
These last couple of days. These last couple of months, if not weeks. And I feel like what a lot of people aren't talking about is Stetson Bennett is setting up the Jake Fromm narrative. I feel like from the Georgia fans that I trust, it's not a lot of them, but there are a few that I can actually listen to whose opinion that I take to a bank, and they would rather have JT Daniels starting. So this is also the ones that can look in one game and see that Slade Bolden shouldn't be on the field. So I definitely trust their opinion on football relations. I literally just turned on the game and said, "Why is number 18 on the field? How do y'all see that every week?" Bruh, that boy. Oh my goodness. I've never retweeted a tweet so fast.
No, he played for Bama or something?
Yes.
Yeah, he transferred to Georgia?
Number 18. No. Slade Bolden. He plays for Alabama. He was watching the Alabama game, and he was like, why does he play? Like, I was like, yes, bro. I ask myself that question every week. But yeah, I'm going to take Alabama. I'm not giving a score. I think it's going to be very close. But I feel like if we can run the ball, Brian Robinson isn't playing, so Trey Sanders will definitely be able to run the ball. I've been asking for this for weeks, if not months now. Twitter will be showing it. I mean, to be honest, I've been asking for it since he's signed. I don't know why he redshirted, and I don't know. Well, we had Najee and them there, so I mean, still could have got Brian Robinson's minutes, but whatever. Then he got hurt, so I mean that set him back, but he's back now. So yeah, I mean, I feel like if we can control the ball, we actually have to block Will.
Yeah.
But we'll look good at the end of the game once we actually moved Evan Neal, I believe, back in. So I mean, we should be fine. We just have to run the ball, control the clock, keep the ball out of their hands, and stop the run. Really, if we can stop the run, it'll slow down their pass game. And it will keep our defense from getting tired. So, all of that to say, I feel like we're going to do enough to win the game.
I think Alabama is going to win, obviously. I think it's going to be a really close game. I think it's going to come down to the last 5 minutes of the fourth quarter.
I also feel like Kirby Smart is going to do something to give this game away. So.
Yeah, that's not surprising. I mean, I feel like it's gonna be a really close game. It's gonna be a good game. Two really good
It's gonna be a
teams.
classic.
Huh?
It's gonna be a classic.
Yeah, I mean, two really good teams. They've both beat some pretty good opponents. I don't really see a situation where this is a blowout one way or the other. But yeah, I got Alabama. I will say also, whoever wins this game will win the national championship.
Yes.
I don't know about that because if Michigan go out there and dominate, I'm gonna give them a shot. I think Michigan can beat Bama, and this is why. And as you can see, I said Bama because who likes UGA? Bama's winning this game 35-17. I'm calling it just like that, 35-17. I don't believe in Georgia's offense, and everybody can show me these little BS games they played this year, putting up 50 and 50, all of that. When they play good teams this year, they struggled to score the ball. Period. Whether it was Auburn, whether it was Clemson, it was a few teams that they struggled to score the ball with that actually know how to play football.
I mean, the 3 games I watched, Florida, Tennessee, and Arkansas, they didn't.
They struggled with Tennessee.
Arkansas really just gave that game away. They kept turning the ball over in their own drive, so they got up 21-0, and then it was really over after that. Florida, they were going at it most of the game, and then Florida decided to fumble the ball in their own end zone.
Yep,
and then
broke it open.
Yeah, it was like 21-3 at halftime. And then Tennessee, it was a struggle fest. And then they broke it open in like the third quarter.
If Tennessee had a real quarterback that put some points up, they would be straight. They would have won the game.
Yeah, so I think it's going to be a close game.
35-17.
35-17. I don't believe you will see that Georgia has no quarterback.
Hey, man,
I got Bama by 6.
You haven't been wrong much. So I say like 3-5. I'm not going.
I just feel like
I got Bama by 6. I'll say Bama.
And all this defense about UGA, woo. Bryce Young in the past, like I give him the last 4 weeks, has been using his legs a lot more.
Thank you.
Yes.
I've been asking you.
Yep.
You was there with me at the Florida game, boy.
He refused to run then.
I remember that game, man.
I was finna throw.
He was selling
phone, man. We was in that end zone. I was finna throw my phone when this man did not run the ball.
Like looking right at him, not run.
Like,
He
bro,
just
run.
Yeah, I think he has come into his own these past few games though. He's been
I'm definitely
at the beginning of the season. He seemed like he was nervous.
I mean,
I feel like he's gotten his groove.
I mean, Kevin is my witness. After week 1, I said, well, I mean, obviously before, but after week 1, I came in here and said that's the Heisman Trophy winner. And I said, after 1 week.
Well, C.J. Stroud gave it to him, basically.
Yeah, I'm typing up.
I mean, my boy Spencer Rattler, come to Florida, boy. Spencer Rattler, come to Florida. Come to Florida. I believe in Spence, man. I believe in Spence. I just think like Oklahoma just had their own little problems going on over there. But I believe in Spence.
Well, speaking of Florida, we're going to talk about them. Let's get into their new head coach, Billy Napier. What do you think about him, Mr. Florida man?
I don't care. I don't care about the resume. I don't care that he had the Raging Cajuns ranked 25 because it really didn't matter. I don't care that he flipped the program over and they was trash before. Yes, it's good, for him and his resume. Yes, yes, it's good to hire someone with some type of resume of turning an organization around. But I'm just tired of seeing it right now. Like it's just like Will Muschamp was supposed to do that. Glenn McElwain was supposed to do that. Dan Mullen was supposed to do that. And then we're Florida. We're gonna have people on our team, and if you just competent enough to know a little bit of football, we can sneak into an SEC championship. We can sneak to a 10-win season just because we're Florida. Like, that's not impressive anymore. Like, we have to win. I want to see SEC championships that we actually that I go into confident knowing that we're going to win, not just having to just be confident because I'm a fan. Like, actually being confident in, like, as a fan and as Kevin the podcaster type analyzing the game. I think if he comes and do that, then I probably feel better about the situation. But right now, it just sucks because we're just trash. We're just trash. We giving UGA fans to talk like they done did something. Like when Florida's good, you don't never hear a UGA fan. And when Florida's bad, all they do is talk because why? They have nothing to compete with when Florida's not good. So they're just going to run over everybody else and then get smacked by LSU, Alabama, whoever they play after that. Like, I don't know. I hope he's a great pick, but he's also a member of one of y'all championship teams, coached with Saban. Nobody coached with Saban can beat Saban, and none of them actually have good coaching careers besides Kirby Smart. But he's Mark Richt Part 2. Lane Kiffin. Do he have a coaching career? He just bounced from team to team. Like,
that's not true. we had 5. I'll go into the 5 later, but they all went 9-3 this year, and then 5 of them, 4 obviously because the Oregon isn't going, but 4 of them can still go to the New Year's Six Bowl. Nick Saban, Kirby Smart. Well, Saban doesn't count, but Kirby Smart, Kiffin, and Tucker.
But all of them are mid in the grand scheme of things and can't beat Saban. So that's not giving me no hope with Billy Napier. That's not giving me no hope with Billy Napier, whatever his name is.
I mean, but
we only love one Billy at Florida. We love one Billy.
I mean, but you can say the same thing about Kirby.
Huh?
You can say the same thing about
Yes,
Kirby.
he's mid. I said he mid.
I mean, but
not only because he's a Georgia coach.
Who do you want?
Huh? I don't know, man. Like, I don't know who I would want, bro.
I mean, just bide your time, sit there and eat your food.
Tell you boy come back from Jacksonville.
Urban? Yeah, so he can bounce on us again.
We don't have time for this.
That,
what you got for Florida?
I don't even. What was it?
Billy Napier.
Oh yeah. I mean, like you said, he's got a resume, but football, especially college football, is a "what have you done for me lately" type of sport. So, I mean, we'll see. I mean, he's got everything coming into it. It indicates that he can be able to turn the program around, but I mean, we'll just have to
that's
see.
the same thing with Dan Mullen. Do anybody cares about the fact that Florida was in the New Year's Six game a couple of years ago? Anybody cares about the fact we was in the SEC championship or we won 11 games?
New Year's Six Bowl last year?
Yeah, we won. It's 10 games.
Y'all won.
We won. No, we won.
Y'all won 2 years ago, lost last year.
Yes.
Yeah.
And like nobody
to answer
cares.
Your question, no. But yes.
No, you gotta win.
Well, since y'all keep bringing up the resume, I'll talk about the resume since I did the research for him. He coached at Clemson and Alabama, so he comes from championship pedigree. He's a former Saban assistant, like Kevin mentioned, and he's one of 4 Saban assistants that are, well, he's the 5th now that's a head coach. Kirby at Georgia, Lane at Ole Miss, Mel Tucker at Michigan State, and Mario Cristobal at Oregon. Why do we? He's gonna go to Miami.
Why we include Lane Kiffin into like the Saban tree like he wasn't a coach on his own before?
Because he was a Saban assistant.
Yeah,
I mean, but it just sounds like because everybody else.
I get what you're saying because Saban didn't
make him like he made everybody else.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the same thing with Jimbo, right? Wasn't Jimbo not a coach before him?
He was Bruce.
Jimbo was a coach before Saban, right? No, I don't know. I don't know.
I think so. He was. He was coaching with Bowden, with Bobby.
So Jimbo was a head coach before Saban, or before?
No. I think Florida State was his first one.
Oh, I don't know, dude. But that's a good point. I don't have the answers to your question.
I was just asking questions because it just sounds weird when people be like letting Kiffin, Nick Saban assistant. Like, man, this man coached the Raiders. What are you talking about?
He was technically a Saban assistant. He was on his coaching staff.
Yeah, but
the tweet was that coaching staff had all of those coaches.
Okay, that one in particular coaching staff.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
But I mean, for your point, when they do say Saban is 24-1 against his former assistants, yes, he's one of those former assistants that they count in that.
That's record. Weird.
But yeah, he's a really good recruiter. He brought in C.J. Spiller, Taj Boyd, Vic Beasley, Calvin Ridley, Trayvon Diggs, Jerry Jeudy, a bunch of really good linemen that nobody other than Alabama people know.
But okay.
So I mean,
Okay.
he has Florida ties. So I mean, obviously, I think it's a good signing. I don't think it's a great signing, obviously, because of the landscape of what the SEC East is going to be in a few years. I mean, I broke that down a few weeks ago. So I think it's just going to be tough to win in the SEC East. But he's going to get the players to compete. So
I feel like as long as we control Florida pipeline, we'll still be the best team.
Yeah. But moving on to the West, SEC West, Brian Kelly moving into the SEC.
Man.
What do y'all think about it? I kind of like it.
I think I don't know.
You like it because it's destruction for LSU.
Well, yeah.
No, not really. I mean, I don't see it as a winning hire. I don't think it's a slam dunk. He's going to knock it out the park hire, but I don't think it's going to tear down their program either. But I feel like it's a solid hire, and it'll pay dividends. It's like a stock.
You know that he can coach college football, so at least you have that. But I don't think that.
What are they looking for? They looking just to be good.
They're looking to be good right now and to compete when the realignment happens. And really, they'll only have Texas A&M to compete with.
So they're moving to the East?
They're staying in the West.
Okay, so how they... But
Alabama and Auburn would move to the East. And Missouri would come to the West. They would really have just Oklahoma, Texas, Arkansas, things like that.
You might as well just call the national championship the SEC East then.
I mean, basically. that's kind of why I said it's going to be hard to play.
Especially since
coach at Florida,
Alabama,
Georgia, Alabama.
A championship every year from one of these teams every year.
Fine by me.
I'm fine.
Shoot, Tennessee not always going to be trash. They're going to be a tough team to play. So, I mean, I feel like, like I said, I feel like that's going to be one of those jobs where it's not really, you're not expecting him to come in and win the national championship his first year or two. You really just come in.
Winning season.
Right. He's like that long-term stop. You just putting something in, making sure you get the recruits in, making sure we still building something right here. We're not dead yet. We just building right now. And then when they leave, I'll be talking again.
What y'all think is gonna happen to Ed?
He gonna get another job as an assistant.
So
he just won a national championship a year and a half ago.
Dog, he lucked into that. We're not going down that road.
I mean,
he lucked into that.
We might say that. We might feel that way, but the paper.
Les Miles got another job, so
of course, at Kansas, and he been horrible.
How long did it take him to get that?
I mean, but Les Miles wasn't coming off a championship in recent memory with LSU as well.
Les Miles got fired like 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah. What? They didn't win a championship 4 or 5 years ago. They lost.
They won the championship like 12, 13 years ago.
12, 13. Yeah, he had one championship at LSU, didn't he?
Yeah, that's my point. He didn't have a championship in recent memory to lean on.
I'm just saying, like, I don't know. Les Miles a different case because he had tenure. I'm talking about Ed Orgeron last year in particular won a championship. Like, it's fresh. Like, he can really use that as a stepping stool.
I mean,
and, you know what I'm saying? And then he can use the fact that, I lost Jahmyr Chase. I lost Justin Jefferson. I lost Joe Burrow.
I just don't see him. What type of job are we talking?
I don't know. I think he can find a job TCU.
Probably an OC.
Oh no, TCU just grabbed the coach. But I'm like
a Virginia Tech,
something like that. Yeah,
I guess. I mean, they just also got a coach, but I get what you're saying.
He's gonna luck his way into like a thing. He might be a candidate for Notre Dame.
They already got a coach too.
They already got one? Mm-hmm. Okay.
He's a black guy.
Shout outs to him.
Okay.
But with Brian Kelly, he's a good coach, but I don't believe in him as a winner. I don't consider Brian Kelly a winner. He turned Cincinnati around and he got them legit, and then whenever time they got into a big moment, they lost. The last moment he had at Cincinnati was him getting ran out the building by Tim Tebow. Go to Notre Dame, does absolutely nothing at Notre Dame, but returns their program into a 10-win program and made people get off the Notre Dame is horrible train to getting right back on their sack and pushing them in the top 10. But when it comes to winning, he did not win no big games at Notre Dame. He lost every big game. Lost the national championship. Was one of the worst championships I ever seen in my life. Bad.
That was a waste.
And that's coming off, and he lost like 55-0. And then if I go back into that Tim Tebow game at Cincinnati, they lost 55-0, 55-3. It was bad. Every big game is bad. I don't believe you're gonna come to LSU. You got a 10-year contract at LSU, just being in the Bayou and having those Louisiana those type of people coming into your campus. You're gonna have talent, just like I was talking about with Florida. We can stumble into an SEC championship just because of who we are. So within 10 years, can I see Alabama having a season where they lose 2 games, Georgia lose a game, Florida not good, they can sneak into the playoffs and win a championship like they did with Joe Burrow? Yes. But is that going to make him a great coach for them? No. I think LSU is going to win 8, 9, 10 games consistently while he's there and lose to Texas A&M in the biggest moments, Alabama in the biggest moments, Georgia, Florida in the SEC championships when they do make it. Because I think he'll get to a couple of those.
Yeah, I mean, I think he'll get to some championships. He might win 1 or 2, but I don't see him competing consistently. It's really just
no dominance. I don't think he's going to be dominant. I think they're just going to be good.
I think he'll be all right.
Yeah.
He was doing all that with no players, so it really depends on if he's a great recruiter or not. Like, he's saying that.
Was he doing that with great players? You talking about Notre Dame?
Yeah, I say he was doing that with not really great players. But, I mean, it depends on if he can go out and get those players.
LSU does tend to get a few.
Yeah, you're going to get a few that's going to come in there, like the Leonard Fournettes, the Honey Badgers, that's just going to come there just because it's
from
LSU.
there. Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, that's not going to cut it, obviously.
But he's going to have more talent than he would have ever had at Cincinnati or Notre Dame, especially at Notre Dame because of the academic
I know, but
rigors.
Ed Orgeron was also a great recruiter. So
I think Brian Kelly is better at calling X and O plays than Ed Orgeron.
X's and O's don't win games. Jimmy's and Joe's do.
I mean, hey, I think he's going to do a better job than Ed Orgeron. I think that's...
I mean, he might do a better job on the field, but it's going to be hard to say that he's going to be a better recruiter than him.
I don't know.
I don't think he will be, but I mean, we'll see.
Has Notre Dame never had like no top 15?
I don't know. I doubt it.
But they had to because they was horrible before he got there. He did turn them around.
I'm sure they did better.
What was the linebacker's name?
Mantateo, fake girlfriend dude.
Yeah.
I don't even think he was highly ranked.
Nah, he wasn't. He just worked it. They benefit. I don't even think it's even about talent at Notre Dame. It's benefiting off of feeding off a weak ACC schedule. Like, you're not playing anybody. You're not even playing the best teams in the ACC, and you're playing the ACC schedule. Yeah. And then you don't have a conference championship. True. Your toughest games is USC and Stanford, and they both suck. You know what I'm saying? So really, Notre Dame legacy, their path to the playoff relies on USC and Stanford being good, and Clemson. Maybe them. Like if Clemson good and USC good, and they manage to get 2 wins, they can get in there. So it's not even really about talent, recruiting talent there. Winning 2 games.
Last coach moving on. Lincoln Riley. I saw him on TV today. He heard some SEC chants, obviously, because a lot of people are saying that he didn't want to move to the SEC. Not just because Oklahoma is going to the SEC, but because there were rumors that he was going to LSU, which is also in the SEC. So I don't blame him. I think it was a great move. He used LSU as leverage to go to USC. It's in a weaker conference. They play a trash schedule next year, so you can be hyped up as the bringing USC back to prominence, even though they're going to fluff up the schedule and probably get blown out in the playoff game if they make it. And then I really don't see him playing great defense. Oklahoma consistently gets blown out, and they always lose a game they aren't supposed to lose. So I mean, it's gonna be a cool hire. It's gonna get LA back on the map until another sports team starts winning again, and then they gonna flock back to them just like they do. That's the only reason they talking about this now is because the Lakers suck and because the Dodgers didn't win the World Series. So.
I think USC needs to be good It's one of those teams that need to be good. Our whole childhood, you know,
I
USC
guess,
was good.
like the Knicks.
I never seen the Knicks good in my lifetime, so I don't know about
I
that.
guess it's like football's only good when the Cowboys are good.
Rarely seen them good in my lifetime as well. So those the OGs. But actually,
I've
with
enjoyed-
USC though, in our lifetime, they have been good. They dominance did
I've
reign into
thoroughly
us.
enjoyed football more when USC has been trash than when USC was good.
Nah, I actually disagree because it gave to
I
me.
mean, for you, yeah, because y'all was actually good enough to compete. We weren't. For me, football has been great since USC has been trash.
The tables did turn.
It's kind of like coincidence that they became trash and we became great.
But see, I don't want the tables to turn one sided.
That's not
I want Alabama to be good. I want USC to be good. I want Florida to be good. Believe it or not, I want UGA to be good. I want at least 10 teams good, so we can have.
I was just about
As long
to
as
say,
I
don't care.
I mean,
That
Clemson.
really don't matter to me. I don't care if if any other team is good, especially not Auburn.
Nah,
As long as Alabama's good.
Nah, for the
rest of
sport.
Just like Georgia don't care that this is about to be considered the down year. No, they don't care. No, I don't care.
Well, they need to get it how they can.
You can give me the
It's
best
certain
of teams, the worst of teams, or whatever Shakespeare said.
For the game, they need to be good because
for the sport of football, yeah.
Yes, and then it also helps
the consumer.
Of course, because y'all Bama fans. You know, if Florida was good, I wouldn't say nothing either. But I feel like they need to be good because it makes the playoff committee, the playoff selections, it makes it more fun and it makes it more interesting. Yeah. Like who's deserving, you know what I'm saying? Because a lot, like we was just talking about Notre Dame, a lot of these teams' destinies relies off of success of other schools. And it's crazy to say that, but certain schools need another school to be good in order for them to fulfill their goals. So like I think Lincoln Riley can make them relevant again. He doesn't play any defense, which I don't know why that was a good hire for USC because like growing up, USC was known for, you know, Reggie Bush and what's his name? Not Carson Palmer. Yeah, it's Carson Palmer. And it's another dude.
Matt
Leinart. They did have great defensive pieces. A lot of USC alumni that was great on defense. Barkley.
Didn't was Troy Polamalu there?
Yes.
What's the other dude's name with the long hair? Not Haloti. No, he didn't go there. There was another Samoan dude that played D-line. I can't remember. It's okay.
Not the one that played for the Ravens.
Are you?
Yeah, it's okay. I think he played for the Chargers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's gonna annoy me.
I know exactly who you're talking about too, and I can't.
That was one of the first people I knew.
Yeah.
Not Junior Seau.
Junior Seau. Yeah, is that what you're talking about?
I don't think
Junior
so.
Seau played for USC?
I don't think so. I think he played. I think it was somebody else.
But I say all of that to say that USC is known for not just offense, it's for defense too. So if Lincoln, and then you're in the Pac-12, just because you think it's somewhat similar to the Big 12 and they don't play defense, you're sadly mistaken. Teams like Oregon, teams like Arizona play defense, you know. Arizona State, Junior Seau. Shout out, rest in peace. Teams like Arizona, teams like Oregon, like those teams do play defense more than Big 12 teams. So I do think he needs to come over there. Stanford really plays defense, so I think you need to come over there with a defensive mindset. He already stole like half his recruiting base that he had at Oklahoma to get to USC. So, and from what they say, he plugged in Los Angeles, so he should get it right.
Yeah, he just flipped a 5-star quarterback from Oklahoma to USC. But he stayed right down the street.
If I'm a quarterback, I'm not trusting Lincoln Riley.
But moving on to let's try this again. Let's rapid fire these because the game's about to come on. But I told you at the beginning of the year that this was gonna pop its head back up. But you said that Clemson was gonna lose to Miami in the ACC championship.
I did.
Well, it's the ACC championship weekend, and neither one of those teams are playing. It's
Indeed.
Wake Forest and Pitt.
Indeed.
So, go ahead. The floor is yours.
Who would have thought Wake Forest was going to be in the ACC championship?
I mean, it's not necessarily about them being in it. We knew that Miami, at the very least, wasn't going to be in it.
Well, I didn't know. I looking at the landscape, and I thought Miami coming in with the recruiting base that they had and the coaching staff now that they would have elevated. I'm not saying they was gonna be in the like top 4, but I definitely thought they could have been top of the ACC, make it to the ACC championship. I didn't expect Wake Forest to be there, and Clemson, I expected a drop off, but again, I didn't expect them not to be good enough to make the ACC championship. Like that's a major drop off, even though, and that's coming from someone who would trash and DJ for the longest already, but I still felt like they were good enough. And neither one of those teams that I said are ranked. They barely have a winning record.
So Clemson did what Baylor did. What Baylor did what you wanted not Notre Dame, I'm sorry, Miami to do.
Yes.
Yeah. Makes sense.
I wasn't here when y'all made the predictions, but yeah, Clemson fell off crazy
Hard.
Like, crazy.
Shout out to Will. He did.
You can always expect when your star quarterback goes to the draft that you're gonna fall off, but that was wild.
Because DJ is horrible.
Hey man, they hyped that man up. They say he's gonna be better than Bryce. Well, look at them now. But moving on, we got the teams that we said were either gonna be better or worse. Shout out to Penny. She's definitely been on us to make sure that we talk about the Patriots being better than we expected. I would like to go on the record to say that I thought that they were gonna make the playoffs. I said that when they had Cam. I said that when Cam got cut. I just didn't expect them to be better than the Bills. But that's more so that the Bills have not been as good as they are supposed to be, instead of the Patriots being better, because the Bills have lost a couple of losable games and they are like half a game back, and they do play twice. So my prediction isn't completely wrong yet. So this is just more so on people who didn't pick the playoffs. I think Brendan might not have. I think you did though.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I would have waited on this one being on the Let's Try This Again. Shout out to Penny. Shout out to Michael McCorkle though. He is gonna win Rookie of the Year like I predicted in the AFC. I believe that was who I picked.
I wasn't here when y'all made predictions, but Steelers being, I thought the Bills were gonna be better. I definitely thought they were gonna be better than the Steelers, but yeah, it's pretty surprising to me.
What did I think?
You said the Bills, Patriots, Dolphins, and Jets.
But the Bills are only a half game back. So.
That's what
I still
saying.
feel
That's what I'm saying.
I don't think we're wrong.
And they still got 2 games.
I still think the Bills win this division.
Exactly. Yeah. But shout out to Michael McCorkle.
Yeah. I'm about to say I still.
My boy out there eating. He's like.
I get it now. Penny, you just like the Patriots.
Yes. She's lighting up
Boston.
This man, Michael McCorkle, is lighting the league on fire, and he's gonna win Rookie of the Year or whatever Joel said.
I'm dead.
But moving on to the next
Zach
team,
Wilson.
one of those teams that I was definitely right about. Well, definitely wrong about. I said that the Cowboys weren't gonna win this division. Again, still plenty of time, but it's looking like they're gonna back their way into the division, especially since the Eagles lost to the Giants, a very winnable game. Jalen Reagor catches the ball one of those 2 times, or if
Jalen Hurts don't put him in a position.
I was just about to say, or if my boy Jalen Hurts doesn't throw 3 picks. I'm not gonna do how the YouTuber did when he was talking about Peyton Manning and why he only won 2 Super Bowls. I'm actually gonna give some blame to the quarterback. I'm gonna say that my boy threw 3 picks, even though after that they did have a chance to win multiple times. But if you don't put him in that position, it doesn't matter. But yeah,
Lamar.
Yeah, I mean, but Lamar still won.
Yeah, he still. It was scary.
But I mean, you can't accept things in a loss you can't accept things in a win that you wouldn't in a loss.
Exactly.
So, yes, I get it. But yeah, what are your thoughts about the Cowboys? I think they might win the division, and they might still get blown out in the first round.
There is no might about the division. I said they was gonna win the division, and I said they a team that can win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, they're not doing that.
I don't think they are, but this team definitely can win a Super Bowl.
They can back into the Super Bowl, kind of like a Patriots type beat. I mean, not a Patriot. Well,
what did you just say like 10 minutes ago? You take it how you can. UGA fans don't want to hear. So and then plus for a Cowboy fan, they haven't won it.
I just don't
30 years.
I just don't want to hear their mouth.
I don't.
We all know it would be them backing into it.
Yeah.
The Cowboys is one of those teams that I hate irrationally,
but
kind of like the Patriots.
It's not even them. It's their fans.
Yeah.
And Jerry Jones.
Yeah.
I hate
Jerry Jones. Do
this
talk
is
a
one
lot.
of those teams that like under no circumstances I'll root for them. So
Well,
they're gonna make the playoffs, but I hope
At any given moment, that defense can lock right back in like they was at the first half of the season, and Dak Prescott and this offense can catch fire, and Amari Cooper can act like a number one, when he wants to.
I root for Amari Cooper.
Do he root for himself is the question.
No.
Like,
and man,
but he's Alabama boy. So.
Yeah,
he from Miami too, so shout out to him. It's just he definitely should have his status in the league should be way more than what it is, and you can't blame Dak because it's why it's not.
Yes. From moving on from one person I root forward to the next, we're gonna talk about the Seahawks. My boy Russ has not looked great since coming back from injury. It looks like this is gonna be his last year, and I'm all for it. And I said last year, get him up out of there. Everybody wants him to go to the Saints.
He's gonna be a New Orleans Saints.
They don't have no money.
They're gonna that voided. You can void the contract with what's that boy name? Taysom Hill. Yeah,
hey,
they get that back.
I think Taysom Hill. I think if he does go to New Orleans, I think Taysom Hill should stay.
No, they. You know how much money they paying Taysom Hill? That's why they have voidable.
They give him a lot.
They're giving him a lot.
Why?
That's why they say you can void any year of it.
If I'm giving Russell Wilson, if I'm trading for Russell Wilson, there is no point in time where I think that Taysom Hill is a better option than Russell Wilson. What can Taysom Hill run that Russell Wilson can't?
When he's injured.
Hey, man.
Which is why Taysom Hill is.
What is he doing while he's injured?
Why James Winston?
Okay. That man look like poo. And he got the same injury.
Nope.
Hey, man. All I'm saying is free Russ. Since we talking about freeing people, that's one person that should really be free.
Now come to the Dolphins. Russell Wilson.
It's not like they can get any worse.
They trying to get someone who might be in jail next month. Either be trying to get someone. You go get someone who's already playing.
Yeah. I'm dead. For this one doesn't really work because the only person who actually believed in the Rams year after year is at work. So, shout out to Brendan. He is actually getting it in. They about to get ready to. They doing warm ups probably right now. They about to get ready to run through the tunnel in a little bit. But yeah, I feel like the Rams are who I said they were gonna be. One, I don't believe in the team as a whole. And two, I definitely don't trust Matt Stafford. It's way too much pressure that's been put on him. And for somebody who's never won a playoff game, y'all are putting a lot of pressure on him to win the Super Bowl. I think he's like 9-70 something, like 75 and 76 against teams with a winning record. Trust me, it sounds like a big number, and you can say, well, he played in Detroit all those years, but he's only won like 1 or 2 games this year against a winning record, and that was the Bucks. So, what's your excuse now? I've watched Matt Stafford. He didn't look great against the Bucks. Deshaun Jackson just made 2 good plays.
Right.
One of them he underthrew, and it should have been another touchdown. But, I mean, I've watched him against the 49ers, the Vikings. I think that was who they played. Not the Rams, the Cardinals. He's not it. My boy will say he's just the Matt Ryan with just a little bit more what's it called? Decoration. He's not it, bro. I'm watching him. He's not it. And y'all gonna be mad when they get to the playoffs and then they show that he's not it. And then they gonna somehow blame Odell, even though I don't for the life of me y'all saying that he was already trying to force him the ball when Odell only got 4 targets. So, I mean,
they did have a narrative like they was trying to force in the ball.
Odell was just the person
Like,
who
bro,
everybody wants.
I guess it's Odell's fault that Baker Mayfield was stinking it up last week. Odell knocked the ball out of his hands when he fumbled. Like, come on, bro, stop it. Like, I don't think Odell is the greatest receiver either. Like, I think y'all are overhyping Odell too, but it's not his fault. Like, stop it.
Everybody is on the extreme side of the spectrum. Everybody either think he's the greatest in the world. Everybody think he's the worst person to put on the field.
I think his health, his quarterbacks, and his his addiction to the limelight has put that in that way, because he's not trying to go to a team that he can actually get the ball and win. If he wanted to, he would have went to Green Bay. You know, so.
That man Devontae funny. He said, "Go get Cooper Kupp jersey. That's the one you want."
But see, that's real.
Okay.
That's real. You want to show, if you want to show people you great, you want to show people that you really got skills and you're not over the hill, and you can get over your injuries. Go to Green Bay, play with a quarterback that you know is still in his prime. Get you the ball. You playing with Devontae Adams. No, you chose to go to L.A.
When those talks came up that he was leaving. And they said he was considering Green Bay and all these other teams. I was like, he needs to go to Green Bay if he wants to win.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody said that.
Yeah.
But everybody automatically knew and pointed towards L.A. because why?
He's not going to go there because it's Green Bay. So.
Yeah. And, you know, he buddy with LeBron. He rather be more into the – I don't think he want to win, to be quite honest with you. I don't see Odell in the league in the next 6 years. So, because I don't think he want to win, and I don't think – his decisions of teams is going to put him in a situation where the quarterback is going to showcase he's good. I'm not saying he's bad, but you don't want to play for no quarterback that's giving you the ball.
True.
You have yet to.
Okay. Well, speaking of Odell quarterbacks and all that, let's talk about the Browns.
Mid.
They definitely weren't what I thought they were. I thought that Nick Chubb was going to be able to stay healthy and running the ball. They were going to be able to win just enough games to win this division. But Nick Chubb hasn't been able to be healthy. Baker Mayfield has had to play, and it hasn't looked good. But then again, in the first week of the season, Nick Chubb was healthy, and they had to put the ball on Baker Mayfield's shoulders, and we saw how that ended up. But I guess that was Odell's fault too. But, I mean, Baker is who I thought he was. I thought they were going to be able to win in spite of him, and I was wrong.
Yeah, I mean, they're just not good. Like, not really much more to say. They don't have. I don't think Baker Mayfield is that good of a quarterback.
He's not. Definitely not.
They need a quarterback. You can't win football games without a quarterback. So
in a draft class,
they get one.
In a draft class with Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield, Josh Allen, and Lamar Jackson, you're looking like the worst one in the first round. With Sam Darnold.
I don't know.
At least Sam Darnold showed flashes in Carolina.
Yeah, I was about to say Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield are competing.
Look at it this way: the Jets are trash, and the Panthers with Cam are trash. So how much can we really put it on Sam Darnold?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think Sam Darnold's great either, but I'm just saying. But moving on. Oh, did you go?
No, I was just gonna say it feels good to have a few right takes going into the end of the year, into the new year, because I called it out. These dudes trash. Not just me, just being a Ravens fan. Baker Mayfield isn't it. Offense isn't it. And you can't just rely on Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb if your dude can't hold on to the football on the play action. So Myles Garrett, come to Baltimore.
Yeah, their defense hasn't really been playing up to the standard that we kind of expected. Either.
I mean, they did their part against the Ravens last week, but Lamar Jackson didn't help the Ravens offense whatsoever.
That wasn't really the Browns playing great defense. It was just Lamar throwing the ball up.
Yeah, he was selling.
Hey man, he helped my fantasy team. Shout out to him.
He was selling. He was making me mad.
Hey man, but the last team staying in this division, the Steelers. Kevin likes to make fun of me because I was wrong last week about Ben falling off the cliff. Who's laughing now? Who's laughing now? Who's laughing now? I'll get the last laugh. I was right. Ben is trash. He died after week 4, like I said he would.
He did die after week 4, which is crazy.
He's not it, bro. He's not it, bro.
Literally after week 4, them dudes was like 4-1, but 3-1.
I told you last year. I was just a year early. Like this man Ben Roethlisberger was old and known for dear life. They should have just let him ride out in the sunset. No, bro.
Is it weird to see legends like play like this? Even if you're not a fan of them or the fan of the team.
Them limp towards the finish line?
Yeah, like like dang, he used to be 5.
For me, Ben Roethlisberger was always a really, really good game manager. Like he could go out there and win you some games, but like it's more so his talent around him that was helping him.
Oh no! From the jump, this man been a winner though. Like
I mean, but he
went to the Super Bowl his second year.
Yeah, as a game manager,
and won 12 his first year.
I mean, he was throwing the ball a lot, but he wasn't really like the reason why they was there.
But he definitely was
talent around him. That's my point.
But I mean, I can get that if he was like a Trent Dilfer type of person.
I mean, put it this way.
But he was like 40% of the reason they win.
Why do you think they didn't get to as many Super Bowls as they did?
Why didn't they?
Yeah.
I think
I know. A really good game manager.
I know. I just think if you want to get to Peyton and Tom, that's just if you want to. I mean, Ben Roethlisberger was that dude, but
they're better.
They're better winner than him. Yeah, yes. But I don't think that's makes him just a game manager. I just think
you did the same thing earlier with coaches when we was talking about Florida coaches.
What?
You said Kirby Smart and all these other coaches was trash because they couldn't win.
Yeah, they mid.
All I'm saying is Ben Roethlisberger mid.
But Ben Roethlisberger won 2 championships. None of these other coaches that we talking about ain't even sniff a championship.
Yeah.
Kirby gave it up in his home field.
Ben Roethlisberger hadn't won no championships before he won one.
I mean, but he came into the game running, unlike these other, you get what I'm saying? And then at the end of the day, Tom Brady is what we call the greatest quarterback of all time, most accomplished. Peyton Manning is most people top 2, top 3. He is most people. He is number 2, 3 to most people. I think he's the best. You can't be not top 3 and the best regular season quarterback all time. That don't make sense. It don't add up.
Kirby had 2 to 3 years where he came in running the game too. That's all I'm saying.
And one of those years he nutted up in the national championship.
I mean, but
at home
that was 2 of being great.
At home, no, it was Georgia giving it to y'all.
Nah.
So Georgia didn't find multiple plays in that game to sell and give it up.
No, not that game. I'll give you the the SEC championship.
The
I'll give you
game,
that. I'll give you the SEC championship.
They was selling, bro. They sold to
go back and watch it.
I need to go back and watch it because from my recognition, from my memory, they sold towards the end of the game.
Tua threw a pick, my dude.
And then.
Yeah, in the SEC championship, Georgia was
the SEC championship when Jalen came back and won it.
They definitely sold.
They definitely sold that game.
Yeah,
but the national championship, we won that one. We won that one, bro. You can't take that one away from us.
Busted coverage.
No, we busted the coverage
with Devontae Smith.
If this man Tony Brown,
no way in the world you should let that happen.
Tony Brown didn't get bombed on the sideline, we wouldn't have even win in the overtime. If we didn't miss a field goal, we wouldn't have win in the overtime.
They sold. There's no way in the world we in the national championship and not looking at Alabama. We got the Heisman winner.
It was 13-7 at
How
halftime.
you let them? How do you let them get over the top?
Because it's Alabama.
Because it's Alabama. You sold Georgia. You know what? Come on now. Did y'all feel like that was going to end any other way without y'all besides going deep?
Yes, dude. We had to come back and win it.
No, I'm saying like that's what Alabama do. That's what y'all do with the receivers y'all have, and they let them get over the top. They sold.
Actually, we were dinking ducking the whole game. That was our biggest play of the game.
Yes, and you come on now, it's Bama. You knew that was coming. And you let it happen.
So second is 26 after a sack in overtime.
Yes,
dude,
yes. Bruh. Come on now,
overtime,
know your opponent, bro. You gotta come on now. They not playing Clemson, bro. They playing Alabama. You got to be prepared.
It wasn't me this week.
Come on now, you have to be prepared. You have to be prepared, bro. Yes, on 2nd and 22, expect that. Yes. You have Devontae Smith. You have who else at that time? Judy, Ruggs. You had too many weapons to think, oh yeah, well they could just run it. Like, no, you have to be prepared for everything. Everything. And Georgia sold.
I guess. Hey man, moving on to people and selling and not being able to fulfill their obligations and whatnot. Georgia wasn't able to fulfill their obligations in the championship game. But John Wall, he wants to be able to play again. I feel like he has a case, but I see why the Rockets don't want him to play. When they traded for him, they thought they was keeping James Harden. One, I don't think that was a great idea. That definitely just pushed him out the door. It was like, clearly we not trying to win. Y'all playing with me. Get me out of here. But so yeah, they decided, well, we've got him here. He doesn't help us win. Let's go ahead and start tanking. Just sit over there so we can see what we got. But I mean, he wants to play. They don't want him to play. I mean,
I don't see why not. I mean, paid all that money for him. Might as well throw him on court.
I mean, they don't want to win. They want to get draft picks.
Yeah, I think it's highly unfair.
Hey, man.
Excuse me.
The way the league is set up, you want to play, just take the buyout. If you don't want to take the buyout, you want to get all your money, then sit there and get all your money.
I just think it's messed up because they try to say you can't win with John Wall, but you know your team trash, and you're gonna win with John Wall. Like you add John Wall to Kevin Porter and them, they're gonna win more games.
But they're not gonna win a championship.
They're not gonna win a championship, but it's not the point. It's the point that he's on the roster. He still can play basketball. This man done been through a lot the past 2 years just to get back on the court. Mm-hmm. He worked his butt out. He didn't ask to be traded to Houston. Y'all brought him there. That's a disservice to him.
Okay.
And he averaged 20 last year.
If he wants to play that bad, then he knows what his options are. If he wants to play, then he can take the buyout.
I mean, why should I have to give up my money because you brought me here?
That's not.
And I averaged 20. You know what I'm saying? Yes. Like, it's not like I don't like the narrative. People trying to act like John Wall trash. I think we forgot how good the dude was.
I mean, but yes, we understand that it's not fair that he should have to do that, but that's what it is. That's the league that it is.
And if I'm John Wall,
it depends on what you got. I mean, like if he wants his money, he can get his money.
Yes, you can't have your cake and eat it too.
I mean, same thing with Houston.
It's a messed up situation.
Yes, they can. They literally can.
It's a messed up situation to be in, but at the end of the day, like those are the cards he was dealt. So you gotta.
They're saying we're gonna pay you regardless, so we might as well lose.
Know when to hold him, know when to fold him.
I mean,
Kenny Rogers.
If you really want to play, I guess you take the buyout and see what you can do. You know, but I would recommend probably just sitting.
If I were him, I'd take the buyout because you know there's gonna be other teams who are willing to pay you. So.
Yeah.
He would never make the money that he's making on this contract, though.
Exact contract, but there's people. I mean, there are teams who will give him a pretty decent job.
I see him getting a $15 million deal somewhere, but like that's not $45 million that you could rack all the way up. You know what I'm saying? Like you get a buyout and you turn down the next 20, 30 million, you would never get that 20, 30 million back. Shannon Sharp says that all the time. Like you can't.
Right.
You might be rich, but you could turn down that money. You would never get that money back. So I think it's a weird position. I don't like the fact that they're telling him not to play because you're paying him not to pay and y'all losing. Y'all gonna lose regardless with him. And this is not the NFL. If you go 0-82 and the Cavaliers go 5-78, 5-76, something like that, you still not guaranteed the number one pick. The Cavaliers can definitely still get the number one pick and you can end up with the 7th pick. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. So, like, you doing him a disservice. It's unfair. Let the dude play.
It isn't fair, but life isn't fair.
I get that, but if it was unfair and made sense, like, then that'd be something to say. But it doesn't make sense not to play him, regardless. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't because
it does because they would lose more games.
That doesn't help or hurt your cause in the lottery.
It gets you better picks. It would take you from. I mean, granted, at the end of the day, you can miss on your picks, but you can say that at any point in the draft.
John Wall
gives you a better chance, though. That's the point.
John Wall not on this team playing is not gonna keep them from a top 5 pick.
I mean,
they better off.
It's gonna keep them. It's gonna take them from probably. I mean, well, obviously the NBA is stupid because it's a lottery, but it would take you, like, say in any other sport, it would take you from like 2 to like 10, which is a big difference. So yes, it does make.
But they're still playing wood, so.
I mean,
it doesn't make
because he's a young player. They're trying to see what they have. He's not 30-something years old.
Bunch of practice
one person.
All right, moving on. Clay.
One person
playing G League games. Shout out to my boy Clay. He's back in the league. In a couple of years, it's gonna be the narrative that Steph wasn't nothing without Clay. They're not gonna look at the fact that they were they were a 19-3 team on a 73-74 win pace. They're just gonna look at the fact that they missed the playoffs twice. So shout out to my boy Clay.
Yeah, he'll be back soon. So it'll be nice to see the Splash Brothers on the court together again. Once he gets back, they'll be. I don't think this season, maybe next season they'll win a ring again.
I think they can do it this year.
I think they can do it this year.
I think they can. I don't think they will.
I mean, it's only Phoenix, LA, or the Warriors that's getting out the West, so one of them gonna get it. And I think like Clay gonna come back better than ever. He was already dominating before he got hurt when he did the dunk in the finals. It was gonna be good for the Warriors. I think Clay being out gave more appreciation to him. Even though he didn't make this NBA 75, I think people realized how good he was and how valuable he was to this team. And you miss it. You miss seeing him play. You miss him playing with Steph. And I think Clay being gone also shows more appreciation to Steph. People realize how great Steph is in his own right. And it was able to give Steph this narrative that he's not clutch or he can't lead a team on his own. He too small. He don't get stronger and everything. So like Clay being out was kind of like a blessing to him, and he could show that. And then like Clay being out is kind of like a blessing to him as well for the fact that people didn't respect him. You know, looked at him as like the second little fiddle to Steph Curry. People looked at him as someone that, you know, was just a component to the Warriors and not, you know, one of the top 5 shooters all the time. Superstar. Yeah, like he's he's the second superstar in that. Like he's very valuable. Tried to give Draymond more props than, even though Draymond get his props, but Clay is very, very, very valuable. So I think people are, and now he got a chip on his shoulder. Now he sees that he's gonna come back with more vengeance and even elevate. They're making the 75 thing a joke because he ain't make the list, but I think this is all gonna mean well for do good for the Warriors, I should say. I'm happy to see him back. And when Wiseman get back, and the way Draymond playing, averaging singles but still playing all-star level, if that makes any sense. This man is averaging 8, 8, and 8, but yet is dominant on the defensive end and orchestrating this Warriors offense. So this team right here gonna be dangerous when Clay come back.
Yeah. Before we get into the last one, Oklahoma State sold. They came back, tied it. I mean, they didn't tie it. It was 21-16. They drove down, got it on 4th and 1, and then instead of running the ball right in between the tackle and the guard, the running back tried to bounce it out, and he ran out of bounds at the 1-yard line. Like he couldn't stretch the ball out at the 1-yard line.
And they lost?
Yes, 21-16.
Wow.
Yes, but moving on to our last topic, we've got the AB being suspended for 3 games.
Whack.
Yeah.
Stupid.
He's dumb. I'm not gonna lie.
Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, I agree. They should have. I said it when it happened. They should have suspended Aaron Rodgers. Mostly so
either
we wouldn't have.
Suspend both of them or fine both of them. Don't fine Aaron Rodgers.
I mean, suspend both of them. I feel like that was the answer. I feel like this wasn't the this was the argument that we were gonna get, and I mean, AB is lucky that it was only 3 games. He ended up getting vaccinated, so I feel like that's why he only got 3 games. Mm-hmm. But I mean, bro, like it's not that serious. Like if you don't want to do the vaccinate, like if you don't want to be in the vaccinated protocols, then get vaccinated. Like if you don't, I mean, if you want, wait, I don't know if I said that right, but if you don't want to be in the unvaccinated protocols, then get vaccinated. If you do, then stay unvaccinated, bro. Like you don't have the choice. You can't get your cake and eat it too. Like there are choices you make. If you want to choose one thing, choose that thing. Don't try to go around the corner and get both things. You get one or the other. Steak or fish. You don't get both. You at a wedding, you get steak or fish. Not both. Plates are expensive.
Is there a vegan option?
See, see, you better than me. See, guys, Jordan's a good guy. AB, you did what you had to do, man. You know,
you didn't.
I look at it like this. We all have our own personal opinions and views of this coronavirus and this vaccine stuff. Whoop de whoop, and it's a lot of people trying to force people to do this and do that, do this and that. And
Nobody's forcing you.
Hey, at the end of the day,
if you didn't want to do that,
he only got suspended because he misrepresented his status, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So he said that he was vaccinated when he wasn't.
Oh, I thought they said someone snitched and said he had a fake vaccination card.
That's what that means. So you don't have to be vaccinated in the NFL. I think the only
exactly.
No, you don't.
Yeah, you don't have to, but you can't lie and say, "Oh yeah, I'm vaccinated."
Say you're not vaccinated.
That's
nobody's gonna punish you. You're not
that's
gonna
why
go
you
to
got
timeout.
suspended. Like you said, I mean, vaccinated. The vaccine you have your opinion on it, but like if you're not vaccinated, don't tell people. Like I'm not vaccinated. I'm not going around pretending to be vaccinated.
But see, I get it. You know what I'm saying? My biggest thing is they find Aaron Rodgers and suspended Antonio Brown. But my biggest thing about this vaccination or whether you lying and stuff, should you be lying? If you got it, you got it. If you don't, you don't. Yeah, you shouldn't be lying about it. My thing is, it doesn't affect anybody else. We making a big deal over people talking about if they got vaccinated or if they did it. It doesn't affect you whatsoever.
But that's not
you know what I'm saying?
We're talking about the fact that he could have just avoided all this by just saying,
that's true. That makes sense. But at the same time, it's like, why are we making this a big deal anyway? Who cares?
The league.
I mean, the league cares. I mean, obviously, selectively. You know what I'm saying?
Obviously,
so I'm not finna push hard on Antonio Brown for something.
I'm not just saying that he's lucky that he only got 3 games because it could have been more.
That's true.
I just don't see. I don't even understand. I don't understand like why. Because it's not like it's. If it was required to be vaccinated to be in the NFL,
exactly.
I can see why he lied about it. But it's like,
just say I'm not vaccinated. It's nobody. How many games did Josh Allen miss? How many games did Kirk Cousins miss? How many games did Lamar Jackson miss? 0. Because they all said I'm not vaccinated.
I'm gonna tell you,
it's not that hard.
He had nothing to gain from
nothing. 0.
Antonio Brown is from Liberty City, Florida, and if you know if you let me finish, you'll know he's from Pompano. But if you know anything about them people in that area, they don't play with a full deck. That's all I'm saying. And you can harp on him and say all of that if you want, Jordan. Right. But I'm just saying, like, with Aaron Rodgers, nobody in a week, nobody was talking about Aaron Rodgers, but everybody was goddamn.
I mean, it hasn't been a week.
It has been a week with Aaron Rodgers. It has been more than a week.
It hasn't been a week for AB. So
I'm just saying, like, y'all, everybody going more in on this dude.
I mean, I'm not going in.
You know what I'm saying?
Like,
because
and then who did he tell? Like, I remember Aaron Rodgers going in the media saying he mutilized or something like that.
I mean, again, I feel like they both should be suspended, but I feel like AB doing what he did is worse. Aaron Rodgers didn't go out and get fake information and try to pull a fast one. He literally just said it to the media.
But who is it hurting? Y'all, everybody acting like it's not hurting nobody. Again, it's a dumb decision, yes, but it's a dumb.
It's not hurting anybody. But again, the rules are the rules. I'm not saying that it should be a health order. I'm talking about what the rules are, what his suspension should be, and what it isn't, and what it should not be. Yeah, I didn't say that he should go to jail. I didn't say that he should go out there and write an apology letter. He should go out there and say, "Oh, I'm sorry. Let me go get vaccinated, get it on video, and be a public service announcement for anything." All I said was he's lucky he didn't get suspended for more games because it should have been more. That's all I said.
Lying to the public.
I mean, he didn't lie to. I mean, again, they both should have been suspended. Aaron Rodgers should have been suspended. AB should have been suspended.
But you know what's the difference? You know, when you get on this microphone like Aaron Rodgers did and say that to the world, that can have an effect on the whole entire, the view that people that's listening
out and actively try to go around the system by faking his vaccination status.
Okay, but one told the world a bold-faced lie.
Okay, but one didn't actually go out and try to fake it. He literally told the league, "I'm not vaccinated." Okay. Your beef is with the league because they didn't punish him. not with Aaron Rodgers, because yes, he's dumb for saying that, but he didn't actually go out and try to infect people. He was doing what he was supposed to do.
But did he though?
Behind the scene? I don't know. I don't
Because
care.
they said he followed all
I'm
he
saying
followed the
is-
rules until he got to the media and had the mask off. So
I
it's
mean,
like
so again, he was just doing that for the media, not his teams, who all knew he wasn't vaccinated.
you
like
fake.
I just
But
said.
you tell the world.
I mean, but again,
Something.
I feel like they both should be punished. They're both wrong, but one didn't actively go out of his way to do something when he could have just said, "No, I'm not vaccinated."
I think we both.
Gotten the same punishment. If you're gonna find one, find the other. If you're gonna suspend one, suspend the other. Whatever you think the punishment should be, it should be the same for both.
I agree, but I think what me and Jordan disagree on which one we feel is the worst one.
I mean,
That's
I
what
feel
it sounds like.
That's
what I'm saying. Like it doesn't matter though.
Is one pot and one kettle, but they're both black, and I feel like they're both just about equally as wrong. If you really want to put me to the test, I would say AB, but who cares at the end of the day? They're both wrong.
Yeah, I think
both.
the two situations you're splitting hairs with. Like,
right.
Hey, Anthony, AB did something for himself, whether it's stupid or not. Aaron Rodgers said something to the world that little people could be
both did
influenced
something
by.
for themselves, which was stupid and could have been avoided by just saying, "I'm not vaccinated."
Yeah,
True.
And moving on with the day.
True.
Like,
Now,
it's not even
that's the
required.
truest thing.
I mean, but
You don't
that's
even
the
need
end
to be
of it. I
vaccinated.
don't even know why we're going back
Yeah.
and forth. Like it's
Because-
I don't know why this is the most
heated
discussion.
I mean, it's
Because
literally
it's
that
al-
easy.
it always
Like,
get-
it's not that serious.
it always
Like,
get.
They're both wrong. They should be suspended. It was that was the end of it. I don't know why it was so much more.
Because people
I mean, but it
select
shouldn't
and choose
have.
of who they harp on.
But we all know that.
But see, that's why we got this platform to say it. Don't take it personally, but
I mean, but all I'm saying is we were literally almost done, and we went on a long ass tangent about something that wasn't important. Like, we all know that they're both wrong. We all know that it's unimportant. That's why it's at the end of the episode. But yes, pick the ending. Before we get out of here, we're going to figure out which team out of these new coaches will be the most competitive in the new... Who will be most competitive soon? I'm going to go with Brian Kelly, mostly because, well, I don't know. I'll go, depends on what your definition of success is. I feel like Lincoln Riley can win a Pac-12 championship and more games, but I don't really see them winning a championship anytime soon. I feel like over time, Brian Kelly can win one before Lincoln Riley can, because I feel like I'm more confident in him if he gets more talent. And I feel like once everybody leaves the West, like, it's really just going to be one game that they will have to win when everybody else in the East will have to trip up, kind of like Georgia did this year. So,
I think Brian Kelly will have more relative success. I think he'll be able to, maybe a few years from now, I think he'll bring a championship to his school sooner than Lincoln Riley will. So I'll go with Brian Kelly.
Billy Napier. Think he's gonna be there longer. Think he's gonna have more time to set up and actually build a culture there. He's young. Resume of fixing programs. One coach has a resume of not playing defense. The other one has a resume of losing big games. So Lincoln Riley probably win the most. Brian Kelly probably have the most attention, but I think Billy Napier is going to accomplish more.
I feel like if he can get out to a fast start, that's his best chance. I don't see a national championship, but other than that, once the West tightens up, we're going to have to see how he looks before these, like how these recruiting classes are rolling in, and we're going to have to see what they producing like on the field before I can say him, just because he's the most unknown. But for Kevin's point, yes, I feel like he can win it the quickest. It's really just Georgia to compete with, like I said, with Pac-12 USC. So, I mean, I feel like that's a good hire for them. It's more, I want to see how it works out before I can pick them. But y'all got anything else?
It's good to be home.
have you. Glad to have you. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and get ready for this Bama game. Let's go watch these Tide roll. Make sure you follow us on all social media. I'm Jordan.
And I'm Kevin. Make sure you follow me on Instagram at Vice City Kevo.
Josh, make sure you follow me on Instagram at Tyus.j. That's TYUS.j.
Yes, and you can follow me on on Twitter at @this_guy11, on Instagram _thisguy11. Can follow the sports pages on Facebook and Instagram, Not Another Sports Podcast, Twitter _A_S_podcast. Make sure you watch us every week on YouTube, Cool TV. Shout out to all the audio platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, all those. Not Another Sports Podcast, black and red logo. Make sure you check us out.
And with all that being said, make sure you guys are staying safe out here, washing your hands. Black Lives Matter. Don't fall for none of the agendas being pushed out here. And go Gators.
Roll Tide.
Go Braves. Resign Freddie.
Chop on.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Let's get the hell out of here.
Yeah, take me to the crib, Jordan, because guess what? I stole from her.
I'm dead.
Oh, shit.
How am I supposed to leave the house with no keys? I didn't know I had keys.
You already nigger.
Hey, yeah. I mean,